State Superintendent Chris Reykdal here. We're very excited to be submitting our Every Student Succeeds Accountability Act submission. As you all know, we've got a new accountability system coming to our state, and we've been working exceedingly hard with districts and parents and community leaders around the state. I want to make sure that we spend a few minutes to talk a little bit about what's in that plan, how it's going to be different, and how you should begin to anticipate some changes from OSPI and within your district. The heart of the plan is really four things. One, a focus on a unified system of accountability. So a student achievement index that also speaks and works effectively with our report card here at OSPI. Second, support for training of our educators. We want this plan to reflect our best effort at training our professionals to support our districts in ways that we have never done before. Third, the intentional focus on underperforming populations, students who have struggled in the past. The prior plan has focused so much historically on failing schools, and as you know, I'm not a big fan of that label. I want us to focus on the student populations themselves that are struggling most mightily. Students of color, students in poverty, second language learners, and special needs students. The plan will put a significant focus on those students. And lastly, you're going to get more flexibility with the turnaround dollars that we have. Both the federal dollars and the state dollars are going to come to you with guidance and support from OSPI, but you're going to get more choices on how to spend those dollars so that local control really matters. You're going to figure out in more important ways what your particular district, your particular school needs in your turnaround efforts. So let's first talk about accountability. The old system was very much about test scores and graduation rates. Those will still have a very large role in our achievement index, but we're going to add not only the assessment results of English language arts and math, student growth and proficiency on those assessments, but also a very specific focus on English language learners. That's a requirement of the federal government. Our graduation rates, our school attendance or chronic absenteeism will play a part in this. Specifically how our students are doing at the 9th grade. We know the research is so powerful about that being a year to propel students to ongoing success. And we will be adding a metric of dual credit. It's important that every student have an equal opportunity to achieve dual credit status, get an advanced jump on their post-secondary plans, whether that's technical school, military, four-year college, or university. The key here is that we have an integrated system, so the data is coming together as one achievement index with more variables. Like in the past, every school will end up on the achievement index, but we will do our very best to affix that line so that as you have performance gains, that line isn't moving every single year. Just as importantly, of course, is how we support you as districts when you do find yourself struggling with one or more populations. Unlike the past where a few hundred schools would be identified and everybody else would sort of be off the hook, if you will. The new system will identify more schools, in fact a lot more schools in some cases. Sometimes it's just because one population of students, maybe it's special education or one subgroup of students by race or ethnicity. We think this is important because it's going to allow you as a district and as a school to focus your school improvement plans on the exact populations that you're struggling with and generally that we're struggling with as a total. Again, if we go back to the idea that we're not focusing on the test and we're not focusing on failing schools, but making our new accountability system about improving student achievement, we have to put our attention on the students who are struggling the most. It's risky. We've said this before. Being identified as a school that needs support or improvement in the past has always been in the culture of failure and high risk. We want this to have more of a culture about constant process improvement, constant improvement for students. So we expect every school to take some sort of emphasis on their students struggling and say this is a part of what we do. We move achievement on a constant basis and we constantly review it. The goal here is to lower the high stakes nature of all this and make it a part of our everyday practice in our schools. We know we can't achieve great things with our students without amazing educators and professionals in our buildings, from our teachers to our classified school employees, our bus drivers, our custodians, our administrators, our board members. So part of the work here as we work on constant process improvement and constant performance improvement and changing that culture from a failure culture to an improvement culture is an investment in our professionals. This new accountability plan gives us an opportunity to focus our turnaround dollars in more important and significant ways on developing teacher effectiveness with very targeted subpopulations. So things like cultural competence become a very important part of the training going forward. How to better differentiate instruction when you have learners at different paces. Part of the work is also about making sure that we keep a constant focus on who we recruit and how we recruit so that we diversify our teaching force. And then as we make adaptations in our system, whether it's improvements in technology or changes in assessment, that our educators have a constant ability to upgrade their skills. This is part of our new performance framework. We know it's about the students who need support, but we know they can't get there without amazing educators, and we intend to double down on that effort. So as part of this process, as districts and as schools, you're going to have access to data from OSPI that we've never been able to produce before. We worked really hard this last session in anticipation of this new world of accountability to get additional resources from the legislature to take our data analytics and go a step further, not just at the district level, but all the way to the individual school level. A lot of you have used those data analytics. A lot of you like them. We continue to owe you lots of advance notice when we're producing results and talking to the media about it. But increasingly, our report card that we produce in conjunction with the Student Achievement Index that the state board adopts will have more detail and more functionality. You're going to be able to look at those subpopulations in a given school. Maybe it's African American students, and then look at those students by poverty status or whether or not they are a student with an individual learning plan. This is a pretty remarkable day for us in the state of Washington. We think we're a leader in the country on this. Again, I understand the risk that causes. This is going to be very public information, so your parents and your taxpayers and voters and business community, they're also going to be able to see this. And so I think it's important for boards and administrations in each district to have a communication plan ready to go next year when we roll out our new report card, so that you are really functional in the tool, you understand the data and the data sources, and you can not only have powerful conversations with your community, but you can begin to use that to close gaps. Again, I keep coming back to what this is really about. It's about very specific student populations who need better support so that we can move overall student achievement. We think these new data tools will go a long way in doing that. Another great opportunity about our accountability plan and what we're submitting to the U.S. Department of Education and what's in the underlying law is flexibility for districts. In the past, when a district was identified for school turnaround, there was a lot of prescription about the role of OSPI, the role of districts, the role of the state board, the back and forth in that, what the dollars could be used for. We think it's more appropriate to maximize the new law to the extent possible to give you in local districts the ability to make some decisions about those turnaround dollars. Again, a statewide index will still determine who needs comprehensive support and who needs targeted support, and we're going to go beyond that, of course, to identify districts who have even one subpopulation that needs support. And in some cases, you'll do that out of your own resources. It'll simply be us sort of pushing you and you using those school improvement plans for that improvement work. But when dollars do flow your way, we're going to work hard here in our organization after we've reorganized, and we've done that, to figure out what works best in your community. Maybe you need coaching for educators or principals. Maybe you need program changes. Maybe you need culture change in a school. Maybe your school board needs help. Whatever it is you need that you think identifies the best strategies for school turnaround, school improvement, we want to partner with you on that and make that possible. You should push on us on this. You should ensure that the flexibility comes with the dollars. We're very excited about the work, of course, but it has to be the work that you want to do that makes sense in your community. In closing, I just want to thank you. Let's get to work on this together. We do have a year where we're effectively under the old system, sort of like the budget where we're under the old model. We know there's a lot of change coming in both the fiscal world now and the accountability world. It's magical that they've aligned, but I also understand there's risk to it, and we're prepared to walk hand in hand with you along the way. Thanks a lot.